You wake up before the sun touches the 7 hills. The city above you is still quiet. Within the hour, you will be standing waist-deep in the filth of 500,000 people. And somehow, the man who buys what you collect down here will become richer than most senators. This is your job. You are a sewer worker in ancient Rome, sometime in the 1st century AD. Maybe you are a slave. Maybe you are a freedman who has clawed your way into the only trade that will take you. Either way, today you are going underground. Let's start with what you're walking into. By this point in Roman history, the city has been building its drainage system for over 600 years. The largest channel, the one that swallows everything else, is called the Cloaca Maxima, the Great Drain. It began as an open ditch dug to drain the marshy valley that would become the Roman Forum. Over the centuries, the Romans covered it, expanded it, and connected it to 11 aqueducts pouring water through the city above. The historian Pliny the Elder, writing in the 1st century AD, described this tunnel system as nearly indestructible. He marveled that wagons loaded with hay could pass through some of its channels. He noted that for 700 years, through earthquakes, through the weight of buildings collapsing above, the tunnels held. You don't think about any of that as you climb down. You think about the smell. It hits you before your feet touch the bottom. Not just human waste, animal carcasses, kitchen scraps, the runoff from over 100 public latrines, all moving sluggishly toward the River Tiber. Some sections of the system have water flowing through them, washed along by aqueduct overflow. Other sections are stagnant. Those are the ones that need you. Your job today is simple to describe and brutal to perform. Clear a blockage. Rome doesn't run on this sewer the way you might assume. Most wealthy households don't even connect their private latrines to the main system. They're afraid of what comes back up. The smell, the rats, the occasional burst of swamp gas that can ignite. So instead, the rich keep cesspits, and they pay people like you, workers known as stercorarius, to come and empty them by hand. Stercorarius. The word comes from stercus, dung. That is your title. That is what Rome calls you. You carry a shovel, a bucket, and a rope. No mask, no gloves. The light down here comes from whatever torch you've managed to keep burning in air that doesn't want fire to live in it. You start digging. The work is rhythmic. Shovel, lift, pour into the cart waiting above, lowered down on a second rope by a boy who will not come down here himself. Shovel, lift, pour. Your arms burn before the sun is fully up. Your sandals, if you have any, are ruined by midday. Here's the part that surprises people. What you're shoveling is not garbage to you. It's inventory. Human and animal waste in Rome has real economic value. Farmers want it for their fields. The nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium in waste make excellent fertilizer. And Roman farmers know this even without the chemistry to explain why. So part of your job, after the digging, is loading the cart for transport outside the city walls, where it will be sold to farms hungry for it. But waste isn't even the most valuable thing flowing past your feet today. It's the urine. Roman fullers, the people who clean and whiten togas for a living, need urine constantly. Stale urine, left to sit, produces ammonia, and ammonia is one of the most effective cleaning agents available in the ancient world. Fullers buy it by the vat, then have workers tread fabric through it with their bare feet, like crushing grapes, to lift grease and brighten cloth. Tanners use it too to treat leather. Physicians prescribe it for wounds, and even for whitening teeth. The strongest urine, by reputation, supposedly came from as far away as Portugal. So there are men working public latrines, whose entire job is collecting urine before anyone else can. Sometimes they're called urinatores. They learn the patterns of the city, which latrines are used by wealthy citizens with richer diets, which times of day yield the most product, who their competitors are. It is, in its own filthy way, a market with insiders and territory, and the government noticed. Around 70 AD, the Emperor Vespasian, needing to refill a treasury drained by civil war, imposed a tax on the collection of urine from public facilities. According to ancient accounts, his own son Titus objected, saying it was beneath the dignity of an emperor to profit from something so disgusting. Vespasian's reported response became one of the most famous lines to survive from the ancient world: pecunia non olet. Money doesn't stink. That phrase outlived the empire. People still say it today, usually without knowing where it came from, or that it began as a joke about taxing piss. You don't get the joke. You're the one standing in it. By mid-morning, the blockage starts to break. You can feel it shift before you can see it. A change in resistance against the shovel. This is the most dangerous moment of your day. Trapped gas builds up behind blockages like this one. Methane. It has no respect for your torch. Sewer collapses and gas ignitions are real risks of this trade. And there is no guild, no safety officer, no one coming to check on you if something goes wrong down here. You keep working anyway. You don't have the luxury of stopping. The tunnel itself is not built for comfort. Some stretches of the Cloaca Maxima are tall enough to stand in, even tall enough, as Pliny noted, for a hay wagon to pass through. Other side channels, the ones feeding into the main line from smaller neighborhoods, force you to crouch or crawl. You move between the two constantly, your back never fully able to relax. The stone above you is old in places, patched, repatched, rebuilt by different generations of engineers going back to the days of the early kings of Rome, centuries before anyone in your family was born. Water management is a constant negotiation down here. When it rains, even lightly, the channels can rise fast, fed by runoff funneled in from the streets and rooftops above. You've heard stories of workers caught in a sudden surge with nowhere to climb. The Tiber itself backs up into the system when it floods, which it does often enough that everyone in this trade learns to read the sky and the river before going under. Around midday, you surface briefly, not to rest, to deliver. The cart above is full, and it needs to move before the next load arrives. You haul it yourself or with another worker, through narrow streets where pedestrians step aside without looking at you, holding cloth to their faces as you pass. Insulae, the cramped apartment blocks where most ordinary Romans live, stacked 5 and 6 stories high, line these streets, and many of their tenants don't bother with proper waste disposal at all. They simply pour chamber pots out of upper windows into the street below. It happens so often that Roman law specifically punishes anyone whose thrown waste injures a passerby below. You've been nearly hit yourself more than once, just walking to work. This is the unglamorous truth beneath Rome's marble image. The grandeur above and the filth below exist within feet of each other, separated only by stone, and by who is willing to do this work. Above you, the city has no idea you exist. Romans walking through the forum, conducting business, watching games, do not think about the tunnels beneath their feet, except when something goes wrong. When a backup floods a street, when a smell rises through a drain on a hot day, when the Tiber overflows and the whole system backs up at once, as it does with frustrating regularity. There is even a Roman law penalizing people who throw waste from windows into the street below, because so many pedestrians were being struck and injured by falling chamber pots. The mess of daily life in Rome was not contained to the sewers. It was everywhere. You're simply the one paid to manage the worst of it. There's a goddess for this too. Cloathena, a minor deity associated with the Great Drain itself, watching over Rome's sanitation, the way other gods watched over harvests or war. Even the Romans understood on some level that what you do down here keeps the entire city from collapsing into its own filth. Status-wise, you are near the bottom. Stercorarius are typically freedmen or enslaved people, rarely anyone born with options. There is no path from this job to respectability, no retirement plan, no guild banquet, no statue in the forum. Your pay, when you are paid in coin at all, is meager, though if you can sell what you collect to farmers or fullers yourself, you might scrape together a little more than the wage alone would offer you. This is, in its strange way, the engine room of the most powerful city on Earth, and you are the one keeping it running. By the time you climb back to street level, the sun is high. You are filthy in ways that water alone won't fully fix. You smell like the job, and you will smell like the job for hours, maybe days, no matter how hard you scrub. This profession didn't last forever. As the Roman Empire declined, so did the resources and organization required to maintain a sewer system this vast. Aqueducts fell into disrepair. Maintenance stopped. Many cities in medieval Europe, centuries later, would not match Roman sanitation infrastructure again for well over 1,000 years. The job of the stercorarius didn't disappear because the work became unnecessary. It disappeared because the system it served collapsed, and nothing as sophisticated replaced it for generations. Today, you can still walk through parts of the Cloaca Maxima. Sections of it remain beneath modern Rome, some of it still funko.